Hi, it's Cindy Fodor with Stamp the Love. Today I want to show you a really cool project, as I promised, and it's called the Impossible Box. I've just recently seen this and I had to try it as soon as I saw it. You should see the crazy notes that I took. I should show you. Um, I had a little scrap of paper next to me and I actually drew the design on the box. I'm going to make that easier for you today, and I will show you exactly how to lay it out. But it is one piece of paper, but it looks like it has a lid on it. I'm not going to try to explain it because I'm not good with words. I'm better at showing you how to do it. So I'm glad you joined me today. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you two different styles that I made, and you can play with it and make any size, not any size, but any shape box that you want to, as long as it's a rectangle shape. But yeah, different dimensions and that type of thing. I'm probably not going to go into detail on that, but I think once you make your first box, you'll see how you can adjust from there. So let's get started. And first of all, I will show you the box. And this is the top. You can see the lid here. Let me just pull the ribbon down so you can see the lid is here. And then I'm going to just lift the lid. And I want you to watch what happens to the top of this box when I lift this lid. Got to get a hold of it good. Look at that. So it's not coming off, it's just opening the inside of the box. And this is what it looks like from the front and the side. All right. So completely attached lid, no more losing your lids. And there you go. So this is the design that I watched somebody demonstrate. I can't even remember where I saw it. There's a few different versions out there. And I wanted to create something that I could use for an event that I have coming up, and I have a gift that goes in here. So I didn't decorate this one a lot. I just put some ribbon around it. So this is the one I'm going to show you tonight, and I adjusted the measurements from the previous box to make this one. And you can see my extra score lines there. Those are my trials. Hopefully the one tonight won't have that. And then you just lift the lid, and once again, there's the inside of the box, and there's the front. I got a little squish there for some reason. So there is that one. I actually used the designer paper and just cut out the poinsettia from the designer paper, as well as the little branches. I'm not going to do it exactly the same for this next one. All right, so if you want to do a screenshot, I'm gonna sit this here. This is my template, and I think you can read everything hopefully there. And I'm just going to move that aside, and then I'm just going to show you how to start, where to score, where to cut. And so my box, the width of it is 3 inches. The side is 2 and 2.25, and then the height is, I don't even know, the height is about 3 inches, a little over 3 inches. Okay, so this is 8.5 by 11. I didn't cut anything off. So on the length, you're going to score at 3 inches, and I already did that, at 5.25 inches, at 8.25 inches, and then 10.5 inches. And then you're going to turn it. And on this side, this is where I adjusted the measurements for the height, because I had to adjust it for the width. When you change the width of your panels, then you have to adjust the width of this as well, okay? Because I needed, if you look at the top here, I needed more. That's what happened the first time. I had the same width, and when it came in here, I had this big hole in the center, and I didn't want that. So you can see I still have a little bit. I could have adjusted it a little bit more, but I'm okay with that. So anyway, so I had to adjust how my measurements went here. So and also I needed a little bit more on the bottom for, and I think I actually think I did that wrong. Yeah, this is supposed to be 1 and an eighth. Or 1 and, I wrote 1 and an eighth. Yeah. All right, which one is it? I'm sorry. I do need to measure this really quick because I want to make sure I give you the right measurements. So let me see here. It is 1 and 5/8. Okay, glad we caught that. 1 and 5/8. So the pattern is, the location is correct, but I wrote the wrong thing. So let's change this. I apologize for that. All right, so 1 and 5/8, 5 and 1/8. The next one is, I'm going to look at this just to make sure I have this the same as I'm telling you. 6 1/4, and then 7 3/8. Okay. Now, what you're going to do, you'll look at the body of your box. The biggest part is going to be the body. And so you'll see 3 lines up here. Your box will always have these 3 lines. And they will be this, these 2 boxes will be the same because that is this part. Let me just show you here. That's this part in here. So once it will fold down on itself, let me show you in here. So here's those 2 lines. Well, 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 3. But those 2 fold on themselves to create the lid, all right, to create that closure. So they have to be equal. All right, I'm just going to show you how to do it, and then you'll figure out how to adjust it later, because this could get very long if I try to explain that all. All right, so now what I want to do is on this second line, I need to fold this. So I'm going to fold this down, and I'm going to just score that good. And then I'm going to put that up against here. And now I need to add some more. I'm not going to score, but I just need to add some marks, because when I'm finished, the pattern is going to look like this. Okay. But to do that, we want to have it exactly right. So this width is 1 1/8. So I'm going to come over 1 1/8 and leave a little mark. This line is here. I'm going to come over 1 1/8 from there, which is 4 1/8. I want to make sure my measurements are correct on here. And then this one is at 5 1/4. So I'm going to come over 1 1/8. And this one is at 8 1/4. So I'm going to come over 1 1/8. And I wrote that wrong. Okay, 8 1/4. 1 1/8. Okay, I found another mistake. I'm so sorry. So this should be 9 1/8 is where this little mark is, not 5/8. So fix that on your, or write a note to fix that on your paper. All right, so now I can barely see those. If you need to do that as a pencil, you can. And if you have, if you're afraid that you can't cut straight, go ahead and take a straight edge and just make a mark along here from this corner here at this score. Yeah, I think you can see that up and to that line. All right, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use my scissors. And what you're going to do is each of these lines will get cut. 1, 2, 3 lines will get cut. All right, so let me do that. And just right on the line. Okay, and then I'm going to come here to the mark that I made, and I'm going to cut that straight down to that point. Same here, there's the mark. I'm going to cut that straight down to the point. Once again, there's the mark. I'm going to cut straight down to the point. Now, remember that I have this folded over, okay? So there's what I'm making as I'm going. All right, and here on the end, we're also going to put it on the mark and cut straight down. Whoops, I think I didn't angle correctly. Straight down to the point. Okay, get rid of those. All right, now, here's where we started. I'm going to cut this little piece out here. I still have this folded and I'm cutting through both of these. So I'm just cutting out this little rectangle right here. All right. And this I'm working on, remember, I'm working on the top of my box. So here's what I have. This is going to be the notch that actually closes that top. So I'm going to, I want to make sure I have to slide it in. So I want to make sure that's angled a little bit. Excuse me, so that it's easy to slide in. I'm also going to come and just angle this a tad. If you put boxes together, you know that you usually do that. All right, we have to remember that this is the wrong score line here. So I'm actually going to get rid of this corner right here. And then each of these is going to cut because these are going to be my bottom flaps. And I'm going to angle them just a little bit so that I don't have any trouble getting them to line up nicely. Let me go ahead and do that with this one as well. I'm just taking just a hair off of the edges. You can see how much. It's not a lot. Well, if I let the camera focus. Okay, it's really struggling to focus on that thing. All right, and one more. Actually, I'm going to go to this edge too. Okay. All right, we're finished scoring, so I'm going to just put that aside since the camera does not like to have to focus on that. All right, so this is what it looks like. This is our bottom. This is our sides. And before I put anything together, I'm going to go ahead and glue down the pieces because it's a whole lot easier to do while this is laying flat. So I'm going to put these two larger pieces where my large panels go. I have these all cut for the project that I said I have to work on. So, and then I'm going to put that, let me think. This is my flap here. So I'm going to fold that down and stick that on there. Let me go ahead and burnish that. I've actually never put these on yet before I assembled it just because I didn't know what I was doing. So hopefully I'm doing this right. I think so. If not, you like to see me screw up on camera, don't you? Because it's very embarrassing. All right, that's going to look a little funny till the box gets folded, and then you won't see all those. It won't look like gaps. It will just look like, hopefully, look like it's centered in there. All right, I need these two little pieces yet. Actually, I noticed on my box, and you probably noticed too, that if you don't put enough adhesive on, because there's a lot of wear and tear as you're opening that box, you want to make sure that everything's glued down pretty well, because otherwise it's going to look frumpy. Can't have frumpy, right? Okay, these are just 2 by 2. These are 2 inches by 2 and, did I write that down? I meant to write that down for you. Give me 1 second, I'll give you the width. Since I have my measuring right here. Oh, it's 2 3/4, that's right. So 2 by 2 3/4. And then these are just 1 inch by, this is 2, this one's 2 3/4, so both the same. All right, now we're ready to start folding this. And what I want to do, I want to burnish everything before I put it together. So let's see. These are going to fold in. So I'm going to go ahead and fold those in. And then this one is going to fold like this, I believe. It's amazing how this goes together once you have those scores folded. And then I'm going to go ahead and do these. One more there, and then let me just do these bottom flaps. Thank goodness that I did that on the bottom and not on the side of it. Okay, now I am going to, let's see, this is the outside of my box. So I'm going to put some sticky strip on here. One nice thing about putting this on ahead of time is then you always know which is the correct side of your box to glue together. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of sticky strip right here. You can use green glue if you want. Actually, I didn't mean to put that. Well, this is going to stick out just a little bit, so you don't want to get too close to that fold. I probably got a little close to the fold. Just because of all of the thickness, you can't get that tucked in the whole way. And I forgot to burnish this. And did I do these? I think I missed these too. Sorry about that. I should have done that when I folded everything. Oh, let's see. Is that the way I meant to go? Yeah, I meant to go this way. Okay. Actually, yeah, that's right. Once you have this folded down, you can burnish these because you have that extra thickness there. And let me go back and do this one correctly. All right. There we go. Okay. That's what the outside looks like. Now, before you stick this together, you want to make sure you have this folded down, because once that's stuck together, you won't be able to get this folded down. I know it totally seems crazy, but just consider that this is a box and there is just no way that you can fold that down. So that has to be folded down ahead of time. We're not going to take this off. We are only taking the long one off. So we'll get that off of there and just fold this down. Make sure the lines are lined up good. Go ahead and press that down well. All right, so there's that part. And then we're going to make the bottom of the box. And I always look at this to see where this joins, because I keep that in the back so that it's sticking out towards where it's going to be decorated. So that means I'm going to put the back flap down first and then this one. Now I am going to... I should have put this on beforehand. I noticed with my box that I only glued this flap. That's all I glued on it right here. And I noticed that as I was pulling on this or pushing on this, I was pushing all of this in. In fact, there you can see how that looks. And I don't like that. So I do want to go around and I want to glue these flaps down, so that when these fold down, they will all be glued well. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this flap as well as this flap. Okay, so let me just show you. I did it on the outside of these. You can even put some in here if you want. That will give it extra fullness. Or not fullness, but security is what I meant to say. It's a little hard to use this in the air, but anyways. All right, once again, just want to make sure which my back. So this is my back, and I'm going to go ahead and press that down. I want to make sure this stays nice and square as I'm doing this. I hate boxes that aren't square. And then do that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I have this block sitting here. I'm going to take and just press down in there good so that all of that adhesive gets to stick to each other, because this adhesive works better when you put pressure on it and make sure that it has adhered. All right. Okay, so now we're back to the top. And what you're going to do now, and this is the really cool thing. So I haven't done anything to this other than fold it and burnish the folds, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and press this down and watch what happens. It actually folds in on each side and boom. How cool is that, right? Like I did nothing except cut those little holes out and score that. And bam, there it is. Now, I see, let's see. Okay, yeah, this is our back side. All right, so now I'm ready to tuck this in. I'm going to make sure that it tucks good first. I want to be able to push that in as far. You see how that glue is, or that adhesive is going to be sticking out there. I wish I hadn't put it quite so far. So make sure that when you put yours on, you put it away from that fold just a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and peel that off. And I use green glue for the first because the lady that demoed it did, but I tell you, I don't like having to sit and hold that. So I really prefer to use this. And I'm going to just press on that really good to make sure that it is adhering. So there is the box. Let me turn this to the front, which is the nicer side. And I see I really got this. Boy, I don't know if I can pull that off of there. I may heat that and scoot that over just a little bit. I got that terribly uncentered, probably because I was working further away than I'm used to working with my camera. So I'm going to tie a ribbon around here. I'll do that first. And I'm using our, it's vanilla colored and it has the gold edging on it. And it just makes it pop. Adds a little bit of, I kept the box really neutral so that these colors would show up. And then the gold helps that pop a little bit. And then here is my poinsettia that I cut out of the designer paper. And I'm going to put some dimensionals on there. And we want a couple because it is a box and it's going to get a lot of wear and tear. These are from Paper Pumpkin, so they feel a little different than the regular ones. Now before I stick that down, I'm going to use my green glue to apply this little berry bush. And I think that looks good right there. So I'm just going to dab a couple spots here. All right. There we go. And oops. Here's this cute little acorn out of the paper. I had to cut him out by hand too. But I'm going to put this down first so I know where I want to put him. I do want to tell you that I cut this from the edge of the paper. So there was a couple tips that were cut off right here. But what I did was I shaped them so that they weren't flat. They were flat like this. I shaped them a little bit and then I just took my my soft suede marker and just went over the edges. So you see here this one's a little flat. I didn't completely do that. But how cool is that? Like I didn't have to waste any of, well, there will be some that are much less than whole, but if there was just one petal that was bad, then I was able to use that. And I'm just going to pop him there. You might not see him because of the other, did I say acorn? I meant pine cone. Sorry about that. All right, so that is the box. Let me pull the pattern back in because, like I said, I did have that one thing written wrong. Now, I recommend before you give this as a gift that you open it and close it a couple of times so that it's not quite so tight. You can see how I'm having trouble the first time around getting a hold of that and pulling that up. But once you do it a few times, it becomes a little less tight. You do want it fairly tight so it doesn't just pop off. But if you have trouble with it being tight, you can always not put that in quite as tightly as I did. But all right, guys, I hope you love this box as much as I do. It is just the coolest thing. I mean, who in the world invents this stuff, right? So make one. Let me know how you made out because I would love to see more ideas. So let me put the pattern. Let me bring this in and just bring it a little closer. There we go. I want you to be able to get a good picture of that. I will be posting this on my blog. I will be scanning this and posting it so that you have it. But just in case that you're dying to do this before you get to see my blog, before I get my blog post done, I should say, there at least is a start so that you can go and try that. All right, guys, just a reminder before I go, the designer papers that I used today are included in the sale that starts October 1st. And you can take advantage of that. Let me know. I will also post my my website, where my store, so that you can go purchase those if you like. They're 15% off of select papers, and there are quite a few different packs of our regular paper that are on sale. So great time to stock up, and make sure you check out my post that has all the different card ideas with the designer paper. All right. So thank you for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed that and that you'll try it. Hopefully you don't have to watch it too many times to figure out how to put this together. So take care. Have a good day. God bless.